bonuses. Stop it. Like you took the job for the bag. So you believe that the sustainability of LSU is greater than the sustainability at Ole Miss. Welcome to the In My Defense podcast, where we chop it up about sports, culture, and life the way it was meant to be discussed. Bold takes, thoughtful analysis, and real talk. Nothing is ever personal, but in my defense. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. I'm always going to bring in my partner, Q, Mr. Quentin Wright McDuffie, marketing extraordinaire and sports aficionado. Yo, Q, what up?
What's good, Brody? What's good? How you?
And I'm good, man. I got no complaints. My wife and I are in the 35th week of our pregnancy. So we're about to get into the window where little man can come at any time. And I got to say, I'm so excited. I didn't realize how complicated putting together baby stuff was. It feels like you need a PhD to put together these upper baby strollers and car seats and cribs. But look, man, I'm loving every second of the journey. It's incredible, man. I know you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I just got my onesie and I'm at the beginning stage, but it's really, really exciting.
Oh, listen, we about to get baby Canty a lot more onesies. I got some new onesies coming his way. For sure. But listen, if you worried about that, you got to worry about Christmas time, brother. 'Tis the season to be broke. When that baby get a little bit bigger, bro, not even just that, like the little kid stuff, so hard to put together. Now, you ain't got no girls. I've did doll houses, kitchens, but you probably might put together some grills. He looked like he might be an Eggman, do some smokers. Yeah. So you're going to have a lot of fun, but also, this the money time. I'm gonna tell you a trick too.
What's that?
I tell my kids, because we don't want to crush no hopes. You know, baby Canty, let him know about Santa. But this is what I tell my kids. I pay Santa, he goes shopping.
You gonna get some credit out of this thing, huh?
I pay Santa, he goes shopping. we ain't gonna have him out here getting all the wins for me and my sacrifices and my wife's sacrifices.
You gonna get some credit. That's what it sounds like.
Listen, it works. And if they ask, well, what about the little tools with the elves? I pay for those too. Don't
Boy, you crazy. You crazy.
Listen, ain't nothing crazy but waking up at 3:00 in the morning and find out you ain't got no job though. That's more crazy. What you heard about that Chris Paul, man? Chris Paul, 12-time All-Star, got the word from the Clippers today at 3:00 in the morning that he's being released. Now he hasn't been talking to Tyrone Lue. I call him Frank White. I remember when he was with the Nets, he was a good coach. But he's talking about it's nothing personal. I think he might want to say in my defense. Did you hear about this story and what you feel about it? Did they do my guy dirty? He's a legend.
Listen, if it was any athlete other than Chris Paul, I would have said $2 Tuesdays at a gentleman's establishment in Atlanta got the best of them. Keep in mind, the LA Clippers were on a road trip. They're due to play the Atlanta Hawks Wednesday night. That's the night that we're actually recording this podcast. But because it's CP3, somebody that is well-respected, well-regarded, as professional as they come, you knew it had to be bigger than that. This is not something that fell within the realm of typical disciplinary issues when it comes to players. He wasn't late to a meeting. He wasn't late for bed check. It was something bigger. And the reporting around this from Shams Charania and others says that Ty Lue and Chris Paul were at odds over the vision on how to course correct with the Clippers season. This is a team that came in with lofty expectations. They viewed themselves as a top 6 team in the Western Conference. And right now, there are only a handful of teams that have a worse record than they do. They're 5-16. So you can sense the frustration mounting from the players, the coaches, and the front office alike. And this is a roster that owner Steve Ballmer has invested a hell of a lot of money in. So to me, this is just the frustration reaching a boiling point. And this is the first big move that the LA Clippers have made. And I just hate that they're doing it at the expense of somebody that laid the foundation for what the modern day Clippers have become.
If it wasn't for Lob City, there would not be the Kawhi, the Pauls. You would not have that giant wall in your arena right now. If it wasn't,
you wouldn't have that arena, because guess what?
At all.
You wouldn't have Steve Ballmer as your owner. Think about this. When Chris Paul came to the Clippers in 2011, they were a laughingstock in the NBA. I mean, that was where careers went to die. Yep. Guys just went to the Clippers because it was the last check that they could get, and they knew that. But Chris Paul turned that place into a viable option for championship contending players to come and play. Think about it. When he got there, they were nothing. His presence there began a 14-season streak of winning seasons. 14 consecutive years they had winning seasons. Chris Paul was there for the first 6. 12-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA performer, 9-time All-Defense. He's one of 3 players to have 20,000 points and 10,000 assists. He's top 2 in assists and steals. Bruh, how do you treat a man of that ilk in that fashion where you got to send him home in the cloak of darkness? That is the ultimate disrespect. And I don't know what kind of message Lawrence Frank and Ty Lue and the organization are trying to send, but it was the wrong message and it was the wrong person.
Yeah, we gonna call him Frank White. The way he acting like he got that blue magic. He bugging out.
No, Frank White at least was a winner. Frank White had a dominant organization. He had a dominant team. Where's the dominance for the Clippers? They suck.
It's beyond terrible, and to do a legend like that, like you said, how does that trickle down to the young players, to the older players? And let's talk about worth. They were worth $353 million when Chris Paul got there. They're now worth $7.5 billion.
It's safe to say that the LA Clippers did not pay Chris Paul what he's worth to them. They might have paid him what he's worth as far as basketball players go, but it's so much bigger in terms of what Chris Paul means to that franchise.
And there's an air
of legitimacy around the LA Clippers that just wasn't there prior to Chris Paul. It just wasn't.
Now, my last thing to you is, what do you think is going to happen now with Chris Paul? Do you think he need to go to the Lake Show? Let's make it right. David Stern blocked the first time. Let's make it right with Bron on the team and Luka.
Yeah, early January, the Lakers get an extra roster spot, so you would like to think that maybe Chris Paul slots into there, because the big thing with him at this stage in his career, this stage in his life, is that he wants to be close to his family, wants to be close to his kids. He's got 2 teenagers, so I can understand wanting to be there in formative years. And I can't imagine him going to another place that's point guard needy. I just don't envision him coming to the New York Knicks as in a backup point guard role. I don't envision him going to the Houston Rockets. I just don't see him leaving the left coast to go somewhere else in order to come off the bench. I just don't see that. I just felt like it was a perfect fit in terms of the role that they cast him in prior to the season starting, and with the franchise knowing that that was the place that he wanted to make his forever home. Every player, every athlete wants to have a forever home when they retire. My forever home is the New York Giants, right? I'm born and bred New Yorker. I won a chip here. Most people know me as number 99 from the Giants, the grill. I'm grateful that I have a forever home. Every athlete wants that. Not every athlete gets that, but every athlete wants that. If somebody like me that wasn't an all-pro can have a forever home with a prominent franchise in one of the biggest sports market in the country, Chris Paul absolutely deserves that for what he's meant to this league. He's been the head of the union. This was the guy that led the charge in ousting Donald Sterling when he was making racial comments off the cuff, unbeknownst to him, being recorded. Like, that was the kind of leadership that Chris Paul demonstrated. Him coming into your organization, it might ruffle some feathers, but you're ultimately going to end up to the good, because he's going to push you in the right direction, in the ways that you need to be pushed. And that's the part that's so bizarre to me. With all of the injuries that the Clippers have been facing early on this season, with Brad Beal and Kawhi Leonard, so on and so forth, you would think that they would want somebody with Chris Paul's basketball mind to be around. But the fact that Lawrence Frank and Ty Lue thought this was the look, the fact that Steve Ballmer, the owner, signed off on this type of decision, and the timing of it, that is an indictment on the entire organization.
Right now, I think the Clippers are going to have to look themselves in the mirror and look back at the trade that I think became the domino of where this franchise is going, and that's sending Shai Gilgeous Alexander over to the Thunder.
Just say HGA, brother.
Listen, I'm trying to get better at saying names. I think the best way to do it is to practice, brother. We gonna practice.
Just say,
Listen, my Brooklyn tongue gonna figure it out. Pause. But we gonna get it right. We gonna
oh
get it
my.
right. SGA.
Well,
SGA.
some people say you're a cutting linguist.
Yes. And I'll just say
God.
I'm maybe that dude.
Oh my God.
but if my wife was here, she'll say that. But we'll talk about some other
Wow.
things. We'll get back to the Chris Paul in a little bit. But let's talk about some football. And oftentimes I'm not a big college football dude, but when things happen in college football, I got to talk about it. Lane Kiffin stunned the college football world this Sunday, leaving Ole Miss right now sitting at an 11-1 season to go to LSU. The timing is a lot of controversy with the playoffs coming up. He said that they denied his ability to coach throughout the playoffs. Canty, I know this is one of the top stories right now in sports. I heard that this is his routine act is to do things like this. What do you think about what Lane Kiffin did?
Oh, there's no other way to describe it than to call it some sucker shit. And the fact that he had to try to play the victim on the way out of the door while poaching coaches off of the Ole Miss staff as that team gets ready for the college football playoff in what will be the most historic sporting event the state of Mississippi has ever seen, which is Ole Miss being in a playoff game at home, is wild to me. It is absolutely bizarro world. But this is what Lane Kiffin does. He's trying to control the narrative. He doesn't want to be framed as the villain or the bad guy. But what he did was take the bigger, better deal. And what people have to understand is nobody has a gun to his head. And yeah, the college football calendar is jacked up. Should they move the early signing period, and should they move the transfer portal window? Absolutely. Those are things that college football should do. But two things can be true. Lane Kiffin could have stayed his ass at Ole Miss and followed through on his sixth season at Oxford, where they actually have a chance to win a national championship. He absolutely could have did that. But he chose not to do that. And I understand why athletic director Keith Carter decided against allowing Lane Kiffin to coach the postseason, because here's the thing. It's a conflict of interest. You're talking about somebody shepherding your program through arguably the most important time in your athletic program's history, having potentially a different agenda because he's trying to advertise for his next job, which is being the head coach at Louisiana State University. So anything that he does in the postseason, how he coaches the players, the amount of time that he dedicates to the game plan, the amount of time that he dedicates to making sure Ole Miss signs really good players during this period, both out of the high school ranks, JUCO, and the portal, I think you have to question all of it. And that's the biggest issue that I have. So, I mean, no other organization would be on board with Lane Kiffin doing that. That's, it's like inviting somebody to a house party and then watching them people walk away with your stuff. You just wouldn't do it.
They fucked up all the chicken.
You just wouldn't do it. And so it's wild to me that that Lane Kiffin went to this thing with the expectation that he would be allowed to do this. Either he's incredibly naive or he's incredibly insidious, because he wants to frame it as if he wanted to stay, with knowing all along that they would never let him coach it. You leave those kids in the lurch. You cast a cloud over the program on what should be a celebratory occasion. I hate it.
You said the best thing. He's trying to set up the scenario for us to have some kind of empathy to him in that decision making. I'll tell you something.
I don't have empathy for nobody making $13 million a year. No, you get $13 million a year on a 7-year contract. You're making over $90 million a year before you even factor in any bonuses. Stop it. Like you took the job for the bag. You took the job because you could offer the players you're recruiting a bigger bag. So you believe that the sustainability of LSU is greater than the sustainability at Ole Miss. And I got no problem with that. Let me be clear about it. I'm a capitalist. So if it comes down to the money, both yours and your players, and you feel like LSU has got more, cool. Just come out and say that and let it be clear so the succession can be organized. But having this gray area, it just doesn't work. It's like when you're in a relationship with a girl. You never want to live in the gray area. Like, what are we doing? What are we to? I mean, once upon a time, I guess I wanted to live in the gray area, but that's because I was learning how to be a player like Bill Bellamy. I'm saying, when you become grown folks with this thing, which Lane Kiffin should be, you want to be clear. You want to be organized in terms of how you move. And the way that he did it was messy. Just like the way that he did it at Tennessee was messy. Just like the way he did it at USC was messy. Just like the way it was with the Raiders was messy.
Messy.
This dude is messy. Even in Alabama, as an assistant coach with Nick Saban, as they're getting ready for the postseason, it was messy because he was so busy worried about what his next job would be, he couldn't focus on his current job. So when we start talking about the prospects of Lane Kiffin staying on as the Ole Miss head coach, the who of it all matters. And Lane Kiffin has shown that he's not trustworthy in that regard.
Now, we are both church kids. You know what I mean? You're a pastor's kid. I mean, every uncle, aunt in my family are ministers. We all grew up in church. Lane Kiffin actually got up there and said, I prayed and God spoke to me and told me that LSU was my next step. That was the right step. Now, my grandma used to say there's a difference between having gas and God. If what you felt in your tummy rumbling was that gas or that God. Now, we're black, so this is a double entendre with that gas. I feel like that was gas that he was saying up there. He just wanted that cash.
I don't know why Lane Kiffin had to bring God into this thing, man. Look, man, you wanted more money? Cool. You wanted more money for your players? Cool. I get all of that, but don't bring God into it, and don't invoke the spirit of your dad, you know, Monty Kiffin, who's one of the greatest assistant coaches in the history of the National Football League. You ain't got to bring none of that up. You ain't got to bring none of that into this. That ain't a factor, man. I'm pretty sure God would have been cool with you staying at Ole Miss, bro. I'm pretty sure he would have been fine with it. He would have been fine with it, dog. See, that's the bullshit I be talking about, man. Like, don't do that to people. You ain't got to do that. It don't take all of that, man. And I get that you don't want to be the bad guy. I get that you don't want the negative PR. But guess what? A year from now, ain't nobody going to give a damn, especially if you got LSU in the college football playoff. You know what they're going to say? Lane Kiffin made the right decision. This is very much so a play the results type of deal. And if he goes to LSU and has the same level of success or greater than he did at Ole Miss, people will continue to laud him as the boy genius. But if he goes to LSU and he spits the bit like Brian Kelly did, with that bullshit accent that he tried to front on when he got to Louisiana, then guess what? They're going to run his ass out of town with the pitchforks the same way. So I don't get why Lane Kiffin is trying to play all of us. It's some bullshit. I don't appreciate how he's handling his players. And to let you know that he's on that bullshit, you saw players currently on Ole Miss's team refute the fact that they wanted Lane Kiffin to stay on and coach them in the postseason. That lets you know that they not with the shits. And if they not falling for the banana in the tailpipe, why should we?
Yes, and there's a lot of players, not only in the college ranks, but also in the NFL, that have a lot of things to say, and sometimes they say it at the wrong time. Let's say they say it on the sideline. You got the situation with Shedeur Sanders making his second start. Now, he had a second start. He fell to an L, 26-8 against the 49ers. Tensions rise. The CBS cameras caught him, Jerry Jeudy on the sideline having a heated exchange with a tablet. The only time I get upset like that with a tablet is when Brooke don't want to go to sleep. I never seen grown men get upset like that over a tablet. But that's a whole other conversation.
Sidebar. How much do you have to fight with that tablet in that screen time? I'm trying to learn as a parent to be.
Well, Brooke is sneaky Mech sneak. That's what I call her, Brookie sneaky Mech sneak. She'll turn it off. We'll go in the room. But if I don't come back out, I might not know she's been up the whole night until I wake up with it on her face. So we try our best. There's a lot of settings in there you could utilize, but for real, I'm not gonna lie, brother. Unless you got eyes behind your head, they're gonna be sneaky Mech sneak. They're gonna be sneaky Mech sneak. I mean, listen, you do what works for you, and sometimes that screen time gives you a little alone time. Remember, you and Mel remember that.
Okay.
you and Mel remember that. You might need some good 5-minute timeouts. Trust me. We here. What is that? you got to understand sometimes that. Yeah. My bad, you guys. This brother's talking. This is what we do. We're gonna slide off sometimes from a topic
we
so we can slide in.
married, man. It's okay. We can talk about
Yeah,
this. We can talk about
yeah.
sex. It's okay.
God said, "Be fruitful and multiply." That's what we doing, you heard? That's what we doing.
Exactly.
But I'm pretty sure Jerry Jeudy thought he was going to get some multiplication on his touchdowns, his receptions. How you only have 88 receptions, 1 touchdown, and you popping junk to Shedeur? Now he's supposed to be a number 1. What did you feel about that? Your number 1 wide receiver coming to your rookie quarterback.
I didn't like it, man. I mean, it's his second start in his NFL career. Give that man some time. Be patient with him. And I get that Jerry Jeudy is frustrated because he's gone through the season, 4 games with Joe Flacco, 10 with Dylan Gabriel. I get the frustration because you play a quarterback-dependent position. Not that every other position on the roster isn't, but your production is directly impacted by the quarterback's play. And you're at the mercy of the quarterback's ability and the quarterback being able to read the defenses and getting you the football. So I understand Jerry Jeudy's frustration. That being said, Jerry Jeudy is not blameless in the disaster that is the Cleveland Browns. Jerry Jeudy has had mistakes in this season. We've seen mistakes in Jerry Jeudy's play with Shedeur Sanders as a starter. Think back a couple of weeks ago to that game against the Las Vegas Raiders. Shedeur Sanders operates out of structure, gets out of the pocket, delivers a dime to Jerry Jeudy. Second reaction play, Jerry Jeudy running down the field. Defender comes up behind him, pokes the ball loose, fumble, ball going underway for the Raiders. Those are plays that can't happen. So everybody is going to make mistakes on the football field, but it takes a collective to be able to overcome said mistakes. And it just felt like what Jerry Jeudy was doing on the sideline was so adversarial. And knowing what we know about Shedeur Sanders' temperament, for him to have to raise up after Jerry Jeudy is going on and on and on, it just lets you know that it was too much. So you would expect a level of professionalism, a level of decorum. And I get it, heat of battle, frustrations boil over. I understand all of that. But you also got to understand the optics of it too. And that was a bad look by Jerry Jeudy. Now, is it something that they can't work past and function forward? No. They'll be able to figure this out. But everybody's going to be paying attention to what happens with the Cleveland Browns this upcoming week and how well those two coexist. Because that is one of the brewing storylines as we move through the month of December.
Now, you talked about optics. There's a video out there of Denzel Washington talking about race and culture. So for context, he was at some interviews for Fences, and they were asking why was he so adamant to having an African-American director, writer, so on and so forth. And he said with that play that he adapted to a movie, that's about culture. That's not about race or anything like that. He said when you comb your hair and you hear that crinkle, did you ever have that? The interviewer said no, because I remember my sisters in the morning, my mom with that hot comb right before Easter Sunday, crackling it up. Or Canty, do you remember this? You remember when you go on a bus trip, your mom makes some fried chicken, put the Wonder Bread around it, and wrap it in some aluminum foil? That's what I think of culture. Everybody might not never had that. Maybe you don't know what fried chicken tastes like, or maybe it ain't fried. It's just chicken that's boiled in grease.
Yeah.
But it's about culture. Some people, they said that if that was Dylan Gabriel, he wouldn't have came up to him like that. I feel 50-50 because I feel like me and you, we can talk loud, we can shout, and it's all love because that's the culture we're from. Do you think that they have a good relationship, that it's just that culture, or do you think this is really one of those moments we need to watch?
Well, listen, Jerry Jeudy has came out in support of Shedeur Sanders in press conferences in the past. So I don't know that it's an indictment on their relationship, but I do think that because you've seen that level of tension in the heat of battle, people are going to scrutinize their relationship now more than ever. And Shedeur is one of the more popular players in the NFL. He's certainly the most popular player on the Cleveland Browns. And so I think that's going to be a challenge in terms of how they handle that moving forward. Because, listen, you can't play football and be good at it without emotion. I get that. But Shedeur Sanders is playing a position where you've got to be level-headed.
Mhm.
And Shedeur is playing quarterback. It's the most important position in all of team sports. It's like being a battlefield commander. Now, you can't be one of the lieutenants. You can't be one of the colonels coming up barking at the battlefield commander when he's got to see the whole picture and he's trying to make sure that the team is positioned to be able to have success. Like there are some things that you want to point out, and that's all well and good. You point it out, you keep it pushing. But continuing to bark at somebody, continuing to challenge somebody in that way, it's never a situation. It never creates a situation where anybody wins.
You've been on the sidelines. You've had a long over a decade career.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure this is common.
yeah.
Uh, it's something you said to me like a week or two ago. I asked you, I was like, was it really that dirty when you played? Now, for the listeners, I'm not dumb. Canty played in the golden era of knock your teeth out. I get it. But I just asked, is it really that bad? And you said, well, they don't have 4K cameras. Is this one of those situations?
No, because I mean, listen, I've had plenty of coaches get in my face, get in the face of teammates, and that be blasted all over the media. I came in the league; it was just the beginning stages of social media, but you would see things every now and again crop up. I remember my former coach, Bill Parcells, Hall of Famer, was videoed hitting one of his assistant coaches on the sideline, and I'll never forget that. And they showed it, and everybody just chalked it up to that being who Bill Parcells was. I think we
Mhm.
live in a different time and space. We live in a different era in terms of what's proper and how to treat people. I think there are heightened sensitivities toward personhood. And I'm not saying that those things are bad. I'm just saying that that's the reality of where we're at. And how you talk to people, how you communicate with people is paramount to being able to work with people now more than ever, especially in team sports. And so I think that's the context around what we saw with Shedeur and Jerry Jeudy on the sideline. And that's something that both sides need to be cognizant of moving forward.
Well, I'm hoping that this layup game that they have with the Titans coming up this Sunday is going to be a good alley oop game
Hey,
for
hey,
them.
hey, be careful with these Titans now. I'm gonna say this: be careful with these Titans. Cam Ward, no turnover in November, only one turnover, one giveaway in the month of November. He's playing a lot better football than what people realize. So even though the Titans are losing games, Cam Ward is starting to show why he was the number one overall pick.
Well, they were workout buddies, so let's see if the little rivalry sparks again. And if not, let's see what happens their second year because we got a lot of second year quarterbacks killing the game. Because Drake may be the MVP.
Ooh,
Drake may be the MVP. You see what I did there? Can't you see what I did there?
Drizzy,
Uh, Drizzy Drake.
Drizzy,
That's what we gonna call him. He got a little drip.
Drizzy.
He ain't got more drip than Dart though. He ain't got more drip than that. He ain't swaggy like that.
Okay.
But
Winning is swaggy.
when it is swaggy because
Winning 10 straight games is pretty swaggy.
it is swaggy because Jackson Dart couldn't be swaggy this past week, Monday when he played the New England Patriots.
Oh, he
They
got the swag. He
lost.
got the swag knocked out of him.
I mean, 33-15 is definitely swag knocked out on that. You see a
Yeah.
little rings of Sonic and Knuckles all around the football field. But Drake May, he completed 24 31 passes, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, no into, and a passer rating of 126. Do you think Drake may be the MVP?
Yeah, I think he's got a great case for it, man. They've won 10 straight games. The kid has been on fire, second in QBR, leads the league in passing yards, leads the league in completion percentage, leads the league in QBR against the blitz. The touchdown throws that he made in that game, the Keyshawn Booty on the fade route in the red zone, and then, of course, the Kyle Williams on the deep shot. Those are big-time throws, man. The guy has an uncanny ability to be able to throw the football. He can put the gas on it, but he can also put the touch on it. He can layer throws properly between the second and third level defenders. There are no holes in his game. He's got every tool in his bag. But the thing that impresses me the most is that he knows when to pull them out. And for a second year quarterback to have that kind of poise is crazy to me. Now, I still think he gets hit too much. But on Monday night against the New York Giants, going up against Brian Burns, who's at the top of the league when it comes to sacks, this dude did a pretty good job of being able to navigate the pocket, not take a lot of bad shots. Remember, he was down his starting left tackle and his starting left guard and found a way to make that work. They hung 30 points in the first half on the New York Giants. It's the first time the Giants have allowed that amount of points since 2009, my first year with the damn team. So it's crazy that Drake Maye has been that good where he can put together that kind of performance. He's had 6 games this year where he's thrown for over 200 yards, 2+ touchdowns, and 75% completion percentage. The only quarterbacks to ever do that in NFL history, to have that many games with those numbers, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, both in MVP seasons. So if you ask me if Drake Maye is playing at an MVP level, he absolutely is.
And if you feel any way, it's okay, because we always got 99 problems, but a take ain't one. So Canty got a good take on Drake Maye. Let's see what he thinks about this slate of games. We have a massive NFC showdown. Both teams need to win. The Lions currently, they're standing at 7-5, and then we have your Dallas Cowboys, my Dallas Cowboys, 2 in the 90s. Canty, it's okay. I know you think I don't have a team, but who do you think is going to win this Thursday night matchup?
Oh, man, it's closing time for the Detroit Lions. And as much as I love my former teammate, head coach Dan Campbell, I think this team has missed their window, and it's going to get highlighted by what happens in this game on Thursday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys are built to exploit all of the weaknesses of the Detroit Lions. The interior trio of the Lions' offensive line is not what it once was. It's why they were entertaining bringing Frank Ragnow out of retirement. It's why the Green Bay Packers were able to get 7 sacks on them in Turkey Day. The Dallas Cowboys defensive line, the strength of that unit is in the interior trio, the defensive tackles, Quinnen Williams, Osa Odighizuwa, and Kenny Clark. Good luck holding up against those guys. And what Matt Eberflus, defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, has done is featured a lot of 50 fronts. That means 5 down linemen and allowing all 3 of those defensive tackles to be on the field at the same time. That spells trouble for that Detroit Lions offensive line. Defensively for Detroit, the back end of their defense, their defensive backs are decimated with injuries, Terry and Arnold, Kirby Joseph, so on and so forth. Well, this is the worst week to be decimated with injuries in your secondary when you're going up against Dak Prescott, who's number 1 in the league in QBR, and you're going up against the receiver tandem of George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Both of those guys combined for 11 first downs when you include forced penalties against the Kansas City Chiefs corners in Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie's an all-pro. Had no answers for CeeDee Lamb. 88 went off for over 100 yards. George Pickens took over in the fourth quarter of that game. I just see more of the same in this particular matchup. Styles make fights, and I just feel like this is a bad, bad matchup for the Detroit Lions. And unfortunately for them, this is a gotta-have-it game.
They got to have it. They need it. Every game after this will be a playoff matchup. I'm excited to see what those Cowboys do. And like you said, that defense is different. It's been different since after the trade deadline. Jerry, you're looking like a genius, brother. You're looking like a genius.
Hey, all the motherfuckers that called me crazy for saying that the Cowboys should trade Micah Parsons, don't y'all hop y'all happy asses on the Dallas Cowboys bandwagon now. Don't do it. Don't do it. You called me crazy. You said I was stupid for saying that they should trade Micah. Don't hop your happy ass on the Cowboys bandwagon now. You stay right. You stay right where you at, and you keep that same energy.
Tell them you're gonna do them how everybody's doing you with the Chicago Bears, because you getting railroaded the way everybody make you stand on the Bears. Right?
Yeah, listen. The Bears are 1 win away from everybody coming over to where I'm at with them right now. If they go on the Lambeau Field and exercise the demons and beat the Green Bay Packers, then everybody else will see what I saw in that team on Black Friday when they beat the hell out of the Philadelphia Eagles, is that the Chicago Bears are for real. And what gives them a high floor, as high a floor as anybody in the NFC, is the fact that they can run the football the way they do. The run game that Ben Johnson is able to scheme up, the X's and O's, and then, of course, the heart of the run game, which is the interior trio of the offensive line, they are playing at a really high level. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are amongst the best defensive tackle tandems in the entire NFL. And those dudes couldn't do a damn thing to slow down Monangai and DeAndre Swift in that running game for the Chicago Bears. crazy thing about the Bears is the passing game with Caleb Williams hadn't even taken off yet. They haven't gotten the best out of Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet. They haven't. Luther Burden, they haven't unlocked that aspect of their offense. But guess what? They're still sitting there 9-3 and in pole position for the number 1 seed in the NFC. The reason for that, they can run the football, they execute in the critical moments, especially in the fourth quarter of games, and their defense gets a hell of a lot of takeaways. That team is amongst the top teams in the NFL in points off of takeaways. So what that tells me is their offense does a pretty good job of protecting it. Their defense does a really good job of taking it away. And when they do, their offense does a good job of cashing in on those extra possessions. That is complementary football at its finest. Mm-hmm. And so while we still want to see more from Caleb Williams, this team plays a brand of football that's going to make them hard to beat in December and on into January.
Now, I look like I don't even have to ask you Bears versus Packers. It sounds like you got the Bears.
Hey, listen, I had them number 1 in my Week 14 power rankings. I'm standing on business with the Chicago Bears. I like the Green Bay Packers a lot, and it's Toyota-thon, so that means that Jordan Love kicks it into another gear. But I'm leery of teams that are all about flipping a switch. And I also don't know that the Green Bay Packers are ready for the run game that they're about to get hit with from the Chicago Bears. The run game is the great equalizer. As great as you might think Jordan Love is, those weapons that the Green Bay Packers have, guess what? You can't stop the run. You can't see the Packers offense on the field. You can't stop the run. You can't see Micah Parsons and that defensive line go to work. It all starts with being able to stop the run. And I'm skeptical of any team being able to shut down the run game for the Chicago Bears. There's a reason why they're ranked 2nd in rushing in the NFL. They're pretty damn good at it. They got 3 games this season over 200 yards rushing. 3 already this season. They played 12 games. They got 3 of them over 200 yards rushing. That is redonkulous.
And then you had 2 running backs go over 100+ yards, doing that for the first time in the Bears' history since
first time since Walter Payton in 1985.
Yeah.
What happened in 1985 with the Chicago Bears?
Oh, that was championship time.
Super Bowl show. Hey.
Yeah. Mike Singletary. I mean, listen, if you haven't seen his NFL life on the NFL Network, My Football Life, it's inspiring.
Oh, yeah. I like that. I like that kind of party.
It's very inspiring. He's one of those dudes. I mean, I know Walter Payton, they talk about the fridge, etc., but Singletary was a different kind of animal. Animal. All right. Texans versus Chiefs, Sunday Night Football. Who you got?
Listen, the way the Dallas Cowboys defensive line got after Patrick Mahomes, I have a hard time not seeing the Houston Texans pass rush be able to get after Patty Mahomes. Think about this. Last time we saw the Texans on the field, they were getting after it against Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. 2 games ago, they were getting after it against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. They sacked Josh Allen a career high 8 times for Josh Allen. Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson Jr., those dudes are monsters. Derek Stingley on the back end, Lassiter on the back end. Those dudes can play ball. The only question that I have about the Houston Texans is where is C.J. Stroud at with this thing? I was unimpressed with his performance coming back from the concussion against the Indianapolis Colts. He's going to have to step his game up. But the thing that I like about how the Houston Texans are playing is they're starting to get that run game going now with Nick Chubb and Woody Marks. And more of that is going to take pressure off of the quarterback. It's going to take pressure off of your defense. Those guys are on the field a lot less. And so I think that's going to matter in terms of being able to play the style of football that's going to allow them to make a late season surge. So I love the Houston Texans in this matchup. I think this is a tale of 2 teams, both going in different directions.
I think this is going to be a great game. I think it's going to be fireworks. And it's always good when it's a Sunday Night Football. Patrick Mahomes usually steps up. We got Eagles versus Chargers, both 8-4 teams. Who do you got, Canty, in this matchup?
Listen, man, I know it feels like the sky is falling in Philadelphia, but they lost back-to-back games earlier in the season to the Broncos and the New York Giants. They're coming off of back-to-back losses now between the Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears. I just feel like the Philadelphia Eagles, championship pedigree, they're going to find a way to be able to bounce back. I think the Eagles, from a strength standpoint, present some problems for the Chargers because the Chargers are decimated with injuries along both the offensive front and defensive front. So I'll take the Philadelphia Eagles in a get-right game on the road. There is no real home field advantage for the Chargers in SoFi Stadium. So I anticipate the crowd being a net neutral. And I think this is an opportunity for Jalen Hurts to assert himself as the quarterback that we all know him to be, which is a championship caliber guy, somebody that won Super Bowl MVP.
We're looking to see what you do, Jalen. We're looking to see what the Eagles do. Brother, have you been watching a little TV, a little Netflix, anything lately? There's some fun stuff that came out lately, if you get my drift.
I ain't messing with all of that baby oil, man. I'm good.
No, we don't even have it in the house. We switched to Vaseline because I couldn't do the baby oil anymore. But you gotta watch that documentary. 50 Cent is the most pettiest person I've ever met in my life, and I aspire to be that petty
Oh
if I
my
could.
God.
If I could. But I believe that Netflix show, Sean Combs, The Reckoning. I was talking to you earlier. We were texting back and forth, and I was talking about character. And I think what he's seeing is the ripples of that pebble of his character starting to come out. I tell my kids all the time, character is who you are when no one's looking. Reputation is what you've consistently done with that character, because that becomes the pillow of who people think you are. So if you don't do the right thing, you don't move the right way, you are what you repeatedly do. If your character stands up, you build a good reputation. And then when people doubt you, that pillow of your reputation will soften any wound that anybody says. But we see his reputation and his character has been kind of depleted. For somebody that was a big Diddy fan, and I'm not scared to say I was a big Diddy fan, seeing people like this, your stars, your big idols, fall like this, and you've played sports, you probably had some teammates, some favorite football players you've met. Your idols become your rivals, your idols become folios, or get locked up in Diddy's case. Character, man. What are you feeling about how Diddy's character is being attacked, and any thoughts on it?
Yeah, man. More important than money is a good name, because that's the thing that's going to last throughout the generations. That's what's going to echo through eternity, your name. Your money, maybe not. But a good name, it lasts. A good name should tell the story about who you are as a man and what you stood for. And if all you stand for is money, then I can tell you that you don't have a life that was well lived. And so I think that's probably the saddest thing that's coming out of this. It's unfortunate what happened to Diddy. It's unfortunate what 50 Cent is trying to do with that whole situation and the documentary. I just hate that with all of the things that we got going on as a community, with people rolling back DEI, people moving the goalposts in terms of Black excellence, for these two men that have achieved these heights when it comes to entertainment, to attack one another in that way, I just think it's a loss for the entire community. So I think it's incredibly immature. What Diddy did was obviously wrong. He deserves to be punished. He deserves to be incarcerated. Nobody's arguing that, but it doesn't stop it from being any less sad.
Now, listen, this might be one of our in my defense moments. I actually like what 50 is doing. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. You like it? Okay.
In the
Break
words
it down for me, brother.
In the words of a great American poet, if it's up, it's stuck. So if it's up, it's stuck. Cardi B.
Well, to channel my inner Cardi B, if we got beef forever.
And that's what you see. That's why I don't listen. And again, if you haven't gotten a chance to watch it, I think he was very objective. There is not one clip with 50 in it at all. At all.
Yeah,
not one
but
clip
I mean,
at all.
but we know what time it is, though. We know who Jane Doe number 3 is, and we know that what that means to Fifth. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I get that it's a hit piece on Diddy, and it character assassinates him. It continues to throw insult on top of injury. But we all know, like, this is 50 Cent trying to twist the knife because of Diddy's relationship with Jane Doe number 3. Come on, man. Like, we know what time it is. We know what that is. Like, there's a reason why 50 Cent is backed off of Officer Rick Ross. There's a reason why. You can't throw stone. You can't throw stone when you live in a glass house, homeboy. You just can't.
Unless your house is full of baby oil, then it kind of slips off the foundation.
Oh my God. What is your obsession with baby oil?
I don't have an obsession, but I've seen so many clips.
You look kind of shiny today. I thought you looked a little glossy today. You got some baby oil on?
No, I got the Vaseline.
Oh,
that's
you got
the
Vaseline? Okay.
I told you I see too many clips in those 4 episodes of baby oil. I'm pretty cool off of it. The thing that disgusted me, though, and this is the Bed-Stuy in me, is the fact that Diddy was supposedly paying for Biggie's funeral. Come to find out, he was trying to put a clause that his family plays that postpartum. He was trying to pay that out of residuals that BIG would get. So my man's was going to pay for his own funeral, and Diddy was going to take the shine like he did it.
Yeah, that's not great.
That ain't good character. That ain't good character. That's crazy work. It's just like what the Clippers are doing to Chris Paul.
That's crazy.
Crazy work.
That's crazy.
How you sit here and put your legends up like this? Listen, you don't win when the family feuds. So I understand your point about like 50 and Diddy clashing. But when it's up, it's stuck.
I mean, we already know the dude was an all-time bad guy based on what he got convicted of. We all know what time it was when we saw the video of him hitting Cassie in the hotel room. We know what time it is.
Yeah,
we didn't need all of the extras. Like, I don't think that changes anybody's opinion of Diddy one way or the other.
It didn't, but please, brother, if you didn't get a chance to watch a doc, if you even episode 3 and 4 more leans to these allegations, but the first 2 kind of talks about how he built his empire, the City College situation. I used to coach track at City College, so I know some of the background just from some of the staff that told me that was still on board now. Older, but their staff still. But
that's crazy. They've been around a minute.
A nice minute. But learning from that and then learning just his come up in the game, things and ways and his attitude. He had a nice little bully energy, and I think money didn't help that. It will tell you more about the man and his rise to glory, and maybe how a lot of people have more on how they develop that label, who he is, than he might have himself. So take a look, but we're gonna go on wins and losses because we know Diddy ain't got no wins this week. But Canty, for you, what's your wins for the week?
Oh man, my win is Ben Johnson, head coach of the Chicago Bears, what he was able to do. All of the naysayers had to go away after they went into the Lincoln, took care of business against the Eagles. They mauled the Eagles in every way possible, both physically, but also the coaches in that damn booth beating the hell out of Nick Sirianni's staff. I thought that was wildly impressive. So to me, it's about Ben Johnson. I think he's coach of the year over Mike Vrabel, over some of the other candidates. What he's done is nothing short of miraculous in terms of turning that franchise around and getting me to the point where I now believe and trust in the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams.
How much of that is Mel with the ratchet in the back? Because I know she's making you
say all this. All of the Chicago people, the friends and family in my wife's camp, they all been on my neck about the Chicago Bears being in my power rankings, so on and so forth. Well, damn it, I put y'all asses number 1. Y'all bet not go into Lambeau and let me down. Y'all better win that damn game. But the Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson, that's my win for this week. What about you?
Oh, man, my win for the week is actually, it's a win for us. We're converting football and sports fans. Shout out to my godmother Tia. She hit me up today and was like, when does the episode drop? Did you hear about LeBron not ignoring his coach during the timeouts? And then the coach had to call timeout. She doesn't watch sports at all. Then she tells me, hey, but what do you feel about Chris Paul being released in the middle of the night? She said she started listening and watching sports because of us. I consider that a win. We want to convert so many people over to sports. We want to be able to get it done. So shout out to Godma. I love you. I'm happy that you watch and listen. More people we're converting you over. Listen to Canty. Watch him on Unsportsmanlike. Always 6 to 10 a.m. 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. ESPN2, ESPNU, and he's going to give you the facts. Then you turn around. You might catch him on First Take. You turn around. You don't know where he might pop up. But listen, we're happy we converted you guys over. That is my win for the week. I'm happy to get people over to the sports dark side. Now we need to get to put in tickets. When we get that, then you got to kick me out the group chat.
I hate you.
What's your loss, brother?
Oh, man, we got to go with the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo wants out. I thought he was going to be around for the entire season. But listen, the Bucks are 9-13. They've lost, 8 of their last 9 games, something like that. It's bad in Milwaukee. The sky is falling, and the big buck wants out. Greek Freak wants out. We know he wants to be with the New York Knicks. That was a place that he pushed the front office for Milwaukee to trade him to in the offseason. It didn't materialize. I feel like we're going to get a lot of speculation now, but ultimately, Giannis Antetokounmpo will end up on a different team at season's end. I didn't feel that way coming into this season. I didn't feel that way 24 hours ago. But I feel like the winds of change are blowing in Wisconsin, and Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be on his way out of town.
Giannis, go to the Lakers. Listen, I'm trying to get Bron one more ring. Just go. Go. Anybody that's free, go there. I need one more so I can pop shit to my friends.
Okay. What's your loss for the week?
My loss for the week, honestly, and it might be the loss for the month, the way this constantly keep being a ripple. Young boy, wide receiver Coleman from the Bills. Brother, you got to grow up. You got to grow up. I know it was cute when you did your press conference saying, who cookies is this? I bought these jackets on sale, but these hands have not been of quality. They have not caught anything on sale because they have not caught anything. You have been a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. They thought that you were going to change the franchise. Fool, I picked you up in fantasy because I thought you was going to change some kind of franchise. Dude, you're wasting your opportunity, and NFL stands for not for long, and you're expediting that not for long. Show up to the facility, show up to the meeting room, do what you got to do because you're too talented to be wasted your time on things you don't got time on. Probably playing video games. He probably hanging out with Kyler Murray. That's really what's happening. He's hanging out with Kyler Murray.
Damn.
You know I got to throw a Kyler Murray stray out of there. You know how he always get one stray. Can't you tell him where they can find you?
Oh, man, you can find me on social media platforms at ChrisCanty99 and at UnsportsESPN. Also on Unsportsmanlike, 6 to 10 a.m. on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU. And, of course, you can find me on the In My Defense podcast on YouTube. Also, In My Defense on social media platforms as well. Q, what about you?
You can find me at QE_Beeman1. And as always, as we say, you can find us at In My Defense Pod. Again, In My Defense Pod. Please like and subscribe. Hit the ding. Hit the ding. Hit the ding. As always, we appreciate you guys watching and listening, tuning in. We don't keep baby oil in the house. I like Vaseline, but in my defense, in my defense.